Dublin Bus provides a public transportation service for Dublin City and the Greater Dublin area. It provides bus routes for approximately 15 million passengers a year. However, there are many aspects of this service that have been criticised. This has both affected the reputation and profitability of Dublin Bus. There are 3 topics covered in the report. 1. Service quality. 2. Supporting facilities, process flows and facility locations. And 3. Technology. Discussed in this presentation are problems associated with these 3 topics, and quotes are added of the general public's opinion about these elements.
As it is the main public transport system in Dublin, Dublin Bus is responsible to provide a quality of service which respects passengers' expectations. There are several aspects that can be analyzed about this service. First of all, the price of the bus fares is regularly increased, which impacts negatively on the consumer's perception of the service. In fact, they have to pay more for the same service. By trying to compete the lures with these increasing prices, Dublin Bus is actually losing customers, so the company has to attract them back. Safety within the bus is another issue for a transport company. Drivers of the Dublin Bus company sometimes drive in a dangerous way, imposing risk to the passengers. Drivers have to be strongly encouraged to drive safely through training or sanctions. The information provided to the consumers is mainly accessible to the website, which is very clear and complete. The main problem is that there is no global map of the routes. It is thus difficult for passengers to plan their trip, especially when they do not know the city. Punctuality of the buses is a well-known problem of the Dublin Bus service. Drivers do not respect the time expected, which disturbs consumers' travel. Drivers have to be encouraged to leave on time. Facing these issues, Dublin Bus has to strive towards improving the quality of its service.
Well, the timetables doesn't really matter even if you see it, because they don't really come at those times ever.
So it's not useful?
No.
The facility supporting the Dublin Bus service can be said to be both 1. The Dublin Bus central office on O'Connell Street, and 2. The actual physical bus vehicle on which passengers are transported from stop to stop across the Dublin routes. The services offered in both facilities are interpersonal services, as both the employee and the customer are involved in the provision of the service. In the first case, the employee is providing a service to the customer in the kiosk in the central office in terms of reimbursement of refunds due for overpaid tickets, the sale of prepaid tickets, the issue of travel cards, and the provision of information on the Dublin bus routes and timetables, etc. On the bus, the employee in the form of the driver is providing a transport service for the customer. He or she is also involved in the issue of bus tickets once customers have paid the fare, and in the inspection of certain passengers' travel cards. The servicescape is an important feature of any service, as it is what influences both employee and customer behaviour. On the buses, some examples of how the servicescape can influence customer behaviour include the presentation of the ticketing machine within the door of the bus, which is separate from the driver. This makes clear to the customer that they are expected to scan their prepaid bus ticket themselves. Another example is the clear stop buttons on the handrails. This tells the customer that it is their responsibility to press the button if they want the driver to stop at their bus stop. Within the central office, one example of the influence of the servicescape on customer behaviour is the presence of brochure and leaflet displays within the door. This encourages the customer to try to obtain information from the leaflets before approaching a member of staff, which may avoid shortages of staff in the kiosks at a future busy period. The availability of roads and space for bus stops can impact the scope of the bus routes offered by Dublin Bus and the location of bus stops along these routes. It is important for Dublin Bus to make sure that all aspects of the service, along with the facilities and processes supporting the service, are monitored and managed in a way that will result in an easy-to-use, self-explanatory service for the Dublin Bus customer. As Dublin Bus is a service which is used regularly by a lot of its customers, it is vital that the company keeps its customers satisfied with the level of quality of the service and the facilities in place to support it.
I think they could actually have a bit more disabled sort of seating. There's only like 3 seats there. There should be at least a bit more, because then there's like a step and people in wheelchairs and like prams with babies, like they only have this tiny little space. If there's more than one, it's sort of a chaos.
Dublin Bus technological stakes are high. The ticketing process is still considered unsatisfactory by the users. The problem of the change receipt and the fact that the customers always ask to have change on him when you do not have the monthly bus card. The solution will be to implement ticket machines at the busier stops, like the DART, or changing the first system and implementing at a fixed price for a limited amount of time. The GBS bus tracking system is in the implementation phase. This system will provide real system information that customers will be able to use by the way of SMS, internet browsers, and screen that we can already see in place. But is it going to resolve punctuality and popularity problems of Dublin Bus? For this, Dublin Bus could follow the problem-solving steps to ensure a good internal implementation and also a good adaptation of the customer, and to ensure a future strategy and continuous improvement.
I always pay with like my change, and I think that you should get change back, not a receipt, which you can easily lose.
In conclusion, Dublin Bus's reputation has been damaged due to the lack of standards. However, the redesign of the Dublin Bus service starting from 2006 to 2015 will benefit both the company and their customers. It is the company's job to stay proactive with respect to providing a quality service to their customers.
Thank you.